Africa's struggle for human rights is deeply rooted in a history marked by its painful experiences of colonialism, apartheid, and imposition of power by foreign entities. The unique experiences of each African nation, their struggle for independence and self-governance, and the journey towards upholding human rights form a chronicle that is both complex and compelling. Many African countries, from the vast plains of the savannas to the beautiful coasts of the continent, have faced egregious violations of their sovereignty. The dignity of their peoples and their inherent right to self-determination were often overshadowed by the greed and corruption of colonial and neo-colonial forces. These foreign entities imposed their will upon the land, exploiting not just the rich natural resources, but also the very spirit of the people. Moreover, over the years, these nations have witnessed firsthand the devastating impact of continuous conflicts, rampant corruption, debilitating poverty, and relentless pandemics on their populations. These multifaceted challenges, often interwoven and aggravated by external interference, have taken a toll on the socio-economic fabric of these countries and have left indelible scars on their people's lives. However, the African spirit is intrinsic to its people for their resilience and determination. These challenges have only motivated African countries to seek justice and accountability for human rights abuses. They have emerged strong from painful pasts, and they continue to strive towards a future where justice is not a privilege but a right to be enjoyed by all. Their efforts for justice and accountability for human rights abuses are not limited to the national level. They have taken this fight to the regional level as well, uniting as a continent to champion the cause of human rights. They have understood the importance of collective action and solidarity in promoting and protecting human rights. Central to their efforts is the African Charter on Human and People's Rights. Adopted in 1986, this document is a significant landmark in Africa's journey towards securing human rights and establishing democracy. It is not only a symbol of Africa's aspirations and dreams, but also a testament to its collective efforts towards realizing them. The Charter clearly affirms the rights of individuals and groups, as well as the obligations of states and peoples. It underscores the crucial balance between rights and duties, emphasizing the responsibility each individual, group, and state holds in promoting and protecting human rights and fundamental freedoms. Beyond affirming rights and duties, the Charter also puts in place robust regional mechanisms such as the African Commission on Human and People's Rights and the African Court on Human and People's Rights. These organizations monitor and enforce human rights standards across the continent, playing a pivotal role in Africa's journey towards justice and equality. They are the continent's guardians of human rights, ensuring that the principles engraved in the Charter are not just words on paper, but are translated into actions on the ground. The African Charter on Human and People's Rights, adopted in 1986, is a landmark document that reflects the continent's aspirations for human rights and democracy. It affirms the rights of individuals and groups, as well as the duties of states and peoples, to promote and protect human rights and basic freedoms. It also establishes regional mechanisms such as the African Commission on Human and People's Rights and the African Court on Human and People's Rights to monitor and enforce human rights standards. The Palestinian cause resonates with many African countries as they see parallels between their own history and the present state of the Palestinian people. The correlation exists because they perceive a reflection of their past struggles for freedom in the ongoing plight of the Palestinians. This recognition has led to a profound empathy and solidarity, fueling their support for the Palestinian cause. They acknowledge the inalienable right of the Palestinian people to self-determination, sovereignty, and independence, a right that forms the bedrock of all nations. Africa's understanding and support extend beyond mere political rhetoric, addressing the painful realities that Palestinians face daily under Israeli occupation, blockade, and aggression. The African nations are keenly aware of the human cost of these measures, having suffered under similar circumstances in their own histories. They express a deep concern for the humanitarian crisis and the fragility of the lives of ordinary Palestinians. Moreover, they vehemently condemn Israel's blatant violations of international law and human rights. They decry the illegal settlement activities, annexation plans, and the excessive use of force against civilians. These actions are viewed as egregious breaches of the principles that underpin the international system, principles that Africa itself has fought hard to uphold and respect. South Africa, in particular, has been a vocal and proactive supporter of the Palestinian cause, drawing heavily on its own narrative of apartheid, suffering, and eventual liberation. It has taken on a leadership role, advocating for Palestinian rights on various international platforms. South Africa's anti-apartheid struggle and its subsequent triumph over systemic racism provide a compelling backdrop for its advocacy efforts. In a landmark move, South Africa has launched legal proceedings against Israel at the International Court of Justice, accusing it of perpetrating genocide and war crimes in the aftermath of the deadly attack by Hamas in October 2023, which resulted in the tragic loss of 1,200 Israeli lives. This action is significant as it underscores the South African government's commitment to ensuring accountability for human rights violations. South Africa has also galvanized support from other developing countries, particularly those in Latin America and Southeast Asia, for its legal action. This global alliance is a testament to the shared belief in the importance of justice and human rights. South Africa's case is premised on the 1948 Genocide Convention, which unequivocally proscribes acts carried out with the motive to annihilate, in whole or in part, a national, ethnic, racial, or religious group. The case draws inspiration from the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, adopted in 1948, 3 years after the end of World War II. This seminal document declares all human beings as free and equal, regardless of color, creed, or religion. The declaration further affirms the rights of people to life, liberty, and security, and upholds the principles of self-determination, justice, and peace. The influence of this declaration is far-reaching, having shaped the liberation movements of many African countries as well as their domestic human rights charters and constitutions. The declaration has influenced the liberation movements of many African countries as well as their own human rights charters and constitutions. In conclusion, Africa is fighting for the Palestinian cause in the ICJ because of its solidarity with the Palestinian people, its commitment to human rights and international law, and its own history of struggle and liberation. Delving into specifics, Africa is not just fighting for a cause. It is fighting for a people that are in dire need of support. This support resonates from their profound connection with the Palestinian people. This connection isn't built solely on diplomatic ties or geopolitical considerations, but on shared experiences, a shared history of struggle, and a shared longing for liberation. They identify with the Palestinians because they see their own reflections in their struggle. The denouncement of oppression and the yearning for freedom is a language both Africa and Palestine understand too well. Moreover, Africa's commitment to human rights and international law has been the driving force behind their action. They firmly believe that every individual deserves to live a life free from fear and persecution, regardless of their nationality or ethnicity. By standing up for the Palestinians, Africa is not merely expressing its political stance, but it is also embodying its commitment to uphold the universal human rights. Through its action, Africa is sending a strong message to the world that it will not remain silent when these rights are violated. A significant aspect of this struggle is Africa's own past. The continent has a tumultuous history, marred by colonialism, exploitation, and the fight for freedom. This history has shaped Africa into a symbol of resistance and resilience. The battles Africa fought yesterday echo in the struggles of the Palestinians today. Thus, Africa's fight for the Palestinian cause in the ICJ is more than an act of solidarity. It is an extension of its own liberation struggle. The continent hopes that its legal action will serve a higher purpose. The goal is not merely to win a legal battle, but to trigger a change, to end the violence and injustice in the Middle East. They hope to pave the way for a peaceful and lasting solution. A solution that respects the sovereignty of both nations and ensures their peaceful coexistence. They believe in the two-state principle, where both Israel and Palestine can exist side by side, each respecting the other's right to exist. Africa hopes that its legal action will help to end the violence and injustice in the Middle East and to pave the way for a peaceful and lasting solution based on the two-state principle.